Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Print to Pitch. This is our series where we have a look at everything 3D printed for Blood Bowl, whether it's teams, star players, stadiums, or stuff that it doesn't really work for Blood Bowl, but really works for Blood Bowl. If it's worthwhile taking a look at, we will do so on this show. And today we're going to be having a look at the part 2 of Brutefun's amazing Skaven team. So last month we had a look at the first half of the release, and now we get the rest of it and a couple of star players as well. Okay, so part 2 of the team fills out the rest of what you need for the Skaven team. So the first release had 2 gutters, a blitzer, a thrower, and 3 linemen, along with the big chunky mecha rat ogre. This part of the team kind of just gets even better. We've got 4 more Skaven linemen for you, which is a very good start. That's going to give us 7 different poses in total. You can mirror them, so there's going to be 14 potential different lineman models. Even on the worst of journeyman days, you're probably not going to get to that many, which is cool. We got a second thrower with an alternative pose, which is very cool. We've got a blitzer with an alternative sculpt in that he's got a face mask and a non-face mask, and we've also got 2 more gutter runners, one of them with a 2-headed mutation. Now that wraps up the Skaven team. There's a couple of tokens in there as well, but Brutefun cannot be stopped, and one of the benefits of going to a bi-monthly kind of rotation is that he can expand, provide plenty of different models, and then some juicy extras as well. We've got Glart, we've got Skitter Stab, and he's had a chance to re-look at his Hackflem model as well. Now I don't have the Hackflem model, but we are going to be having a look at the other models first. But first things first, we're going to start with the new lineman sculpts, and I'm running some Excel spreadsheet in the background, so my PC might be a bit laggy, so I do apologise. But we got 4 more poses here of the lineman. You've got standard on the line pose, you've got standard on the line pose, and then you've got 2 very characterful ones here. This guy has got the kind of classic Skaven, don't hit me. Skaven are renowned for being cowardly and feeble and awesome. That guy, mostly just the first 2, less the awesome. Great sculpt though, and this guy here hiding a knife behind his back is also a really cool addition and a very fun little Skaven one. All of these guys are going to go on the line to die, so I don't really want to spend too much time looking at the lineman. We looked at the lineman last time, and the kicking one is one of my particular favourite models of the set, but we've got great new additions for the team to just kind of pad them out. Right, let's bring up thrower number 2. Now, I'm a big fan of this one. The first thrower is a really, really fun model with the cannon arm shooting stuff. Well, this guy has got a robot arm with a robot backpack, kind of just leaning into it. So this guy, not going to be your cannoneer, potentially be the accurate bit. And what we've seen from the... Oh, look at that. Look at those beautiful green patches. So I'm using Chitty Box here. Brutefun's done a really good job with the Skaven tails. If you guys ever played Warhammer Fantasy Battle or just bought the Games Workshop Skaven team, you will know that the tails are not meant for this world. But Bruty has done a super job here of not only providing additional contact points to glue your model on there. There's a couple where... No, actually, even the flying through the air blitzer's got 2 points of contact, and one of them's the tail. Oh, chef's kiss on that one. But this guy here, the tail starts at part of the model, works its way around, contacts the ground, and then finishes with part of the model here as well. So it gives a really, really good bit of structure to the tail, which will minimize, obviously if you go throwing models around, things are going to break off, but it will absolutely minimize the casual destruction of tails that you sometimes feature on the Blood Bowl pitch. But I mean, everything that the Brutefun pulled off in the first part of this team, he's carried over as well. So we've got this kind of techno-rat, steampunk kind of vibe to the team, which is super Clan Scryer. Clan Scryer and Warhammer are the guys who make the warp, the Gatling cannons and the warp flamethrowers and the big old lightning dude. So if you played any Warhammer Total War or just old school Warhammer Fantasy Battle, all the fun stuff that Skaven have kind of sit with Clan Scryer. Okay, so we've looked at the lineman, we've looked at the thrower. I am a big fan of the blitzers, and then we'll finish with, you know, the gutter runners. So we've got 2 blitzer models. They are the same pose, but with a different armor on the face, also known as a helmet, I guess. So on the left-hand side, we've got full armor, full face mask, and then you've got the alternate pose here of just the mouth. Now, this was really useful in the first section of the team. And the cool thing about it is if you've got the first part of the team as well, you've got this Rat Ogre, and the Rat Ogre has 4-5 different heads, and you can actually get the full face mask on the Rat Ogre, and you can tie it in with the full face mask on your blitzers. I love the big gauntlets of these guys as well. The blitzer models are excellent. I was really pleased with the first blitzer. The second blitzer is just as good. Oh, you wait till we have a look at the models. I think you're going to be really pleased. But excellent sculpting, excellent posing. It's just a really well thought out Skaven team all around. So good work on that. Now let's have a look at the... Ooh, actually, there's 4 gutter runners, which means I forgot to print one of the variants. But that's fine. 2, 3, 4. Here we go. We're going to have to zoom out on this one. So there are 2 gutter runners, basically, and each of the gutter runner has a mutated version. That's right. I remember this now. Let's take that off. So the first version of the gutter runner is this one here that's running all 4, basically on all 4s like a dog. And there's an alternative version of it next door with an extra head that's kind of just been sewn on. So you've got this kind of Skaven mutation vibe as well, which means this team's going to be very useful for forming the core of an Underworld team, even though Brutefun has already gone and done a great Underworld team. I don't know, guys. More Skaven is more better. So great posing here on all 4s running. You've got the kind of the robot legs that we saw with the rest of the Skaven, and you can see the gutter runners on the left hand side doing the catching pose have got that same piece of theme carrying over. So one of the guys has got an extra head. This is your body for runner 4. And I'm going to zoom around here. So he's in a catching pose. Again, if we take a sneak peek underneath, you can see that even the one-legged pose of the gutter runner in the air catching has got foot and that tail piece to keep him kind of grounded on the base, which is very, very, very useful. If you've built any one of the Games Workshop models who are held together on the base by wishes, you will appreciate that second glue point here. And one of the things that's so good about this team is this weird steampunk, just bad vibes. And he's nailed it here. So the 2 heads gutter has got a rat servo skull basically attached to him. It's half a rat just attached to the body of the Skaven here, which is just brilliant. And that provides the 2 heads. So you don't have to worry about that. You can get rid of that model if you want and just use the standard one. You don't have to worry about the 2 heads other model that's got the extra bit on there. And you've got 2 really great gutter runners where you've got the classic cowl, the classic cloak, and it's just very, very, very gutter runner. But wait, there's more. So that completes the actual team. There's a couple of tokens as well, but we have got Stab the Star. So I was chatting with Brutefun and he was like, what other star players are there out there? He's done a great Hackflem already, and he's updated the Hackflem model, so if you've got that, keep an eye out for that. And he did a great Skitter Stab. Now, Skitter Stab is a star player of old who is no longer in the game, but this gives you a great option at 1, just having a really cool Gutter Runner model, or 2, having a really cool alternative to Hackflem, and eventually, if Skitter does return to the game, then he's actually got a model ready to go as well. It's a fun one to pre-support. Actually prints out really nicely, and again you've got some really great like flat area there because he's using a human helmet, so you've got great texture all over the model, and you've just got this thick mutated tail that works really well with the helmet on there to give you a nice bit of glue space too. So huge fan of that. We've got Skitter Stab, and then we've got the fattest rat star, also known as Glart. Now, I am personally, I don't know, I'm a massive fan of Glart, the actual star, not particularly, but I'm a huge fan of this model here. So, he's just nailed it. This is just clearly meant to be Glart. He's got a big old belly, he's got big old armor, he's got big old claws, which is a very important part of this star player, and he's got the foaming at the mouthpiece as well, with some cool little, I guess they look like kind of like medals, straps, belts, I don't know. Probably just more cyberpunky bits. As far as this model goes, the cyberpunk theme is not massive. You've got some kind of stitches and bits like that. It actually looks like an organic, if not bulbous, Ratman star. But we've got here a great model for Glart. So, I think that's everything that comes with the set. I'm filming this before Brutefun finalizes everything, so you never know with him, there might be 1 or 2 extra things chucked in there. But let's have a look at some of the 3D printed models. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the prints. I've printed these on the Saturn II, I think. Might have printed them on the Mars 2 Pro. I don't know. Anyway, get standard, really good prints. These two guys, I've not primed or anything yet, which I should have done. This is Thrower number 2, and you can see the... I just love the posing of this. This is a classic quarterback pose. This is the Tom Brady of the Skaven world. So, yeah, Brutefun has definitely copied this posing from Tom Brady, which, hey, what can you do? And you can tell by my thumb that I have been painting some models. So the rest of the models we'll look at, we will have some contrast to pick out the details. This is one of the clan rats. This is the cowardly clan rat, which I'm a big fan of. And again, really lovely prints. Got a bit of glow on the overhead camera. But let's get to the printed models. Let's start out with a blitzer. So I have just chucked these on a regular base, and I have used Wildwood, I think. Contrast Wildwood, because it forms a really good base paint for what I want to do with my Skaven team. So here we go. We can have a look at this model. We can have a look at some of the details, and because I'm a bit slapdash, I've missed bits out. I know contrast is supposed to be one thick coat, but you do have to be careful and make sure everything's covered. But this contrast does such a good job of just giving you the shadows and just picking out all the detail really nicely straight away. And then cheeky dry brush on top, start picking out all the colours, and your model is painted before you know it. Now you can see I haven't cleaned up all of the supports on this one. There's a couple of bits in the middle there, but they do not take much to come off. And you can see some of the great posing and some of the great glue points. So this guy, 2 points, even though his left foot's up in the air, he's got plenty of attachment to the base. So let's have a look at scale comparison. So scale-wise, we've grabbed a Games Workshop Skaven model, and we can compare it to our Blitzer here. And I know we did the scale test. Oh, dude, love this. They actually go really well. That's really cool. All right, there you go. So if you want another Blitzer or a set of Blitzers to go with your Skaven team, you're good to go. Size-wise, the Brutefun Skaven are a little bit taller and a little bit thinner, but generally speaking, when you get them on the pitch, you put them next to each other, you can see that their mass is kind of similar, and it works really nicely. So that's one of the Blitzers. This is the full face mask one, and the alternative sculpt for this one has got none of the kind of nose guard, I guess is how I would describe it for Skaven. Now we've got 3 of the gutter runners here as well to look at, and we've gone with this. So this is one of the running gutters. Wait for the camera to catch up here. So this is one of the running gutters, and there we go. I've got little white spots again, which is magic. Simple coat of contrast brings out this model really, really nicely. And you can see the robotic legs, and just the overall design aesthetic is just awesome. You've got a few tubes there as well, and this is the great thing about this entire team, is a coat of contrast here. And you can pick out a bit of the flesh, chuck a team colour on there, and you're good to go. Or, if you watch the last podcast, you'll see what Ben did painting up one of the linemen for this Skaven. You can add some glow to the tubes and just have a really great time painting them up. And that is exactly what I look for in my models. Anyway, that's the standard version of that guy. And is this the... that's the other one. This is the two-headed version. Now, as a Skaven player, obviously one of the first skills you're probably going to take is block. But you don't need to model block. But I can tell you that 2 heads is going to be a very useful skill for your gutter runners if you can get it. And it just comes out really nicely. Yeah, big fan of that. Size-wise, lines up really nicely to the thrower. I really don't know what more you want from that. You've got cool Skaven design, aesthetic, and really good execution. This is, I think, one of the versions. Yeah, this is one of the ones from set 1 with the servo rat skull head. So this is actually from the part 1, but I had to start painting them up. Okay, and the only other model I've got here with contrast on is the Glart model, because even though Glart is not really part of the team, it was too good of a model not to kind of show off some of the detail here with a cheeky coat of contrast. And I mean, he is a chunky boy. These are all 32mm bases, and he takes up most of that base himself. But you can see he's got brilliant character. This is going to be really good fun to paint up. This is just a really dangerous thing. Every time I do a print pitch, I get closer and closer to just having an unending amount of painting to do. And the good thing about this team is, like I said, it takes contrast really nicely. So you can kind of get to the point where I can add details leisurely when I want, and I know that the model is going to end up looking really, really, really good. Now, he is a chunky boy, but not to the point of unnecessariness, if you know what I mean. He's not so big that a Black Orc would outsize him, but he's got a ton of heft compared to a Skaven thrower. In fact, I do have a Black Orc here, who is my kind of size 4 comparison. And when you put Glart up against him here, Glart, almost the same size from a height point of view. From a mass point of view, he's definitely got more on the Black Orc. So, big fan of that as well. So there you have it. Part 2 of the Brutefun Skaven team. I mean, it does the same as part 1, but just more is better and completes the team. Now you've got 4 different blitzer models. All right, I'll admit it's 2 of each blitzer with a different face mask. Well, that gives you plenty of options. You've got, man, I don't know how many gutter runner models there are. 4, 5, 6, 7 different gutter runner models. Even if there's only 4, but they've got alternative mutations with them as well. That gives you a ton of flexibility. And then there's 7 line rats. You've got 2 of the throwers as well. You've got the big... Where is he? The big mecha rat from part 1 is just a fantastic model. And not just because it looks really cool, but because it's got a series of heads that just clip in. And you've got 2 different hands as well. So actually you can match the rat's head, the big rat's head, the rat ogre's head to your team. So if you want to go with the full face masks, you can have the rat ogre have the same kind of mask. If you want to go more bestial, you don't have to do that. And then part 2 of the team here, it just completes it. The aesthetic lines up perfectly, the sizing lines up perfectly, the sculpting lines up brilliantly. The blitzer in this set's awesome, and the number 2 thrower is brilliant. This part 2 gives you another version, another team to go with the first part of the team. Like, I have personally taken the first part and mirrored it just to fill out a Skaven team, and you could do it with this part here as well. Obviously you want to have both parts, but it's just excellently done. These are some of my favorite Skaven models. You guys know how much I love Skaven, and the core team itself is just brilliant. I am very confident that you are going to see this all over the land, because I think this is probably rocketed to the #1 best alternative Skaven team. And if we do a top 5 Skaven teams, have I just done a top 5 Skaven teams? I think we might have done, because, you know, Skaven. I gotta hand it to this. This is just, it just looks like a better version of the Games Workshop one, with a really cool steampunk vibe. So it's not outlandish, it's not cartoony, it's not scaled weird. It's just well executed, really well executed. The theme is beautiful, but it doesn't overpower it. It fits really nicely in with the way Skaven are. And this kit coming with what? Glart and Skitter Stab as well just means you get more stuff. So I am an unabashed fan of Brutefun, because these models are new. This is new. This is his design based on the theme of Skaven, the Warhammer Total War old school Skaven vibe, and I absolutely love it, with some just gnarly techno rat twists, which I think is brilliant. Now, full disclosure, we love Brutefun. We love Brutefun so much that along with Ugni and, am I allowed to announce this yet? No, another company, we do sell prints on our website. So if you don't have a 3D printer, you can get hold of this team by ordering it through us. If you do have a 3D printer, then please support Brutefun on Patreon. I've got the link down below, because I want him to keep just creating great sculpts, because more great sculpts is more better, along with more Blood Bowl. Anyway guys, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy printing. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.